I know obviously this is not the kind of offensive performance you thought you'd have tonight. Any idea or any thought about why the offense struggled the way it did?
Yeah, I have a lot of ideas. The biggest one is the University of Kentucky, but then the second biggest one is we didn't play together at all. I mean, and you can really say all phase, and and we've got to figure out a way to clean that up. Their three guys up front can consistently beat our five. Our receivers did not consistently catch the ball. We were able to get open, but we didn't consistently catch the ball. We turned the ball over, which was a byproduct of the quarterback's eyes not being in the right place, and he had some contributions too between drop balls or somebody not in the right place, but his eyes weren't in the right place consistently, and so long story short, offensively, we're not coaching very well right now. I mean, we have to coach better. I mean, if you look at this game, nearly every problem that we had was self-inflicted. Not with a lot of respect to Kentucky, but one self-inflicted wound after the next. I mean, I've been plenty of games where we never dropped any balls. I don't know how many balls we dropped, but I lost count. And then the turnovers, which some of those are byproducts of straight up dumb turnovers, and then others are byproducts of somebody not being in the right place, or our guy not moving as fast as their guy, or getting pressure. A number of them, the problem was we're getting hit as we're throwing the ball, and we got to become a better offense. We've got we got a new system. We've got some youth and inexperience, and we just got to stick together and coach our way through it.
On the other side, your defense tonight only gave up 157 total yards in the game. And what could you say about the way they played, especially a guy like Marquise Spencer on defensive end, who seemed like he was disruptive throughout the night for you?
I thought he was. I thought our defense played extremely hard. I thought our defense played well enough for us to win the game. I think our defense has a ways to go. They've got to get better. If they want to be the best defense in the conference, they've got to keep improving. Then special teams, I think we're somewhere in the middle. But I think that, we just got to hang in there and keep coaching. I think that, this is a deal that we've got to swing and battle through, and internally we have to carefully look at the guys that we're playing and what we're asking them to do,
Thank you.
Yep.
First question will go to Steve Robertson.
Coach, what are you seeing from KJ? I mean, he looks like a completely different quarterback the last couple of weeks. What are you seeing as a coach?
I think it's a series of overcorrections. I think that he'll see things and do some things pretty well, and then like early in the game, we're getting ready to march down the field, but we dropped several balls. We would jump off sides, because we're not even a team that's been penalized very much this year up until this game, and then I think he'd get frustrated. Then I think he'd try to do too much. And then as he tried to do too much, I think it blew up on him several times, and then never really got in a rhythm because we didn't consistently protect him.
Up next, we'll go to Ben Portnoy.
Mike, with the way that KJ has turned the ball over the last couple of weeks, I mean, do you feel like he's still your starting quarterback going forward, or do you feel like it's a competition within the break?
We'll have to go back and take a look and see. We're going to have to watch the film and see and kind of evaluate that.
Up next, we'll go to Tyler Horka.
Kind of going off of that, Mike, obviously you flip-flop.
I can barely hear you. Just say it really loud. Say it like those fans were probably yelling at me on the Mississippi State side. I'll be able to hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, kind of going off of the quarterback question, you flopped KJ and Will a lot there in the second half, particularly the fourth quarter. Were you seeing anything positive from either of them, or what was the decision?
I wanted to see if something would, could give us a spark, because I didn't feel like we were seeing the field very well. And then, then things kind of went downhill route-wise and protection. And, the one thing is we got to instill the mentality if you want to wage comebacks, which we certainly were in a position to do that because our defense was playing well, and if we played together on offense. But we're on too much of a roller coaster and too quick to get discouraged. And some of this, some of these lessons have to come from experience, but we have to see if we can't make them happen a lot quicker than they are right now.
Up next, we'll go to David Murray.
They both cover my questions. Thank you.
All right, next we'll go back to Steve then.
Coach, obviously you're going to see a lot more of this zone. Does this become a situation where you start game planning for that and maybe working some more designed runs for that?
Well, we did, and then we had some pretty good designed runs, and ended up. What do we have rushing here? Not very much. That's the thing. We got to be able to move them up front. Got to be able to move them up front. If you got 5, you got to be able to move 3, and we've been struggling with that. And some of it I think is, we have some new faces out there that haven't played together very much, and I think several of them have done some really good things as far as, because right now we're a team that practices pretty well, and we got to translate it to the field. And I've been in that situation before too. First you don't see it at all, then you start seeing it in practice. It's like, where is it? Because it was in practice, and that's, what's real frustrating to us as coaches, is because we're definitely better than we're playing. We practice better than we're playing on offense in particular, and so we just have to get to that point. We have to get it to translate to the field, and and so I think that some of that comes with experience. I don't know how many experienced players we have out there on offense, but it's not a whole lot.
Up next, let's go to Ben Portnoy.
Mike, with the offense just not being able to necessarily get in rhythm, how do you kind of go about establishing that rhythm in a game like this, or going forward? What kind of goes into that?
You keep pounding away in practice. You just got to get better in practice, but in our case, in the course of the game, you try to change things up. You try to do a few different things. The ball really didn't bounce our direction very well. We had an unblocked guy intercept one. We had a ball that hit us in the hands that got intercepted. All those potentially lead to points and first downs and field position. We got a number of those. And then quarterback throws it the wrong place, and then probably would have thrown it the right place if we don't get him hit. That our problems go unit wide. It's not one spot. It's pretty much unit wide.
Up next, we'll go to Chris Leach.
Highland Hill had a big night in the receiving game. What do you think of the way that he played? And on a night where the quarterbacks are struggling to throw downfield, how much of a weapon can he be right there?
Well, he wasn't very much of one tonight. I thought that, he's got some talent and ability, but, we're going to have to see. I thought that we could have gotten more out of several of those. For one, I think at times we could have thrown it downfield too. I thought he could have gotten more on some of them too.
Up next, we'll go to Tyler Horka.
Yeah, Mike, you mentioned throwing downfield, and obviously we just mentioned Highland Hill. For 2 straight weeks, we've seen a bunch of dump-offs, a bunch of short passes. How do you get the vertical game going? I know there were a lot of picks when you tried that last week, but it seemed like it just wasn't there at all tonight. How do you get that going?
Yeah, you got to protect it. That's the problem. If they're going to drop everybody, you should have more time. And as you have more time, then, you can get to the space that they provide. And, ours has been a catch-22. When they protect it, there'll be some mishap with receivers or quarterbacks, and then when it's right there, we don't protect it. So the quick word's consistency, and I know you're getting tired of hearing it, and I'm getting tired of saying it, because however much you've heard it, I've said it probably 1,000 times more than that, but we just have to get consistent, and it's just sort of a grind and a struggle.
Just a real quick follow-up to that. Is the deep ball there in practices, or what does your offense look like in practices? Is it moving, down the field against the scout team?
Yeah, it looks good in practice. Right now we're practicing really well. We just have to be able to translate it to the field. Right now, it looked a lot like our first game, except not as sloppy. We're not as sloppy in practice as we were the first game, but the thing is I think we've got a series of overcorrections, and the other thing is I think we're gonna have to kind of check some of our group and figure out who really wants to play here, because any malcontents, we're gonna have to purge a couple of those.
Up next, we'll go to Steve again.
Coach, the fourth down play deep in your own territory, kind of what was the thought process there, and kind of what happened with the execution of that play when basically threw it long and got a free play?
Yeah, that was to try to catch him off sides. Which I felt like we did, and then we were going to punt it. So you can be the judge of whether he is offsides or not.
Up next, we'll go to Joel.
Mike, you obviously have done this a few times in new places. How does this, installing your offense and things kind of compare right now, getting it going at Mississippi State as compared to your other stops? Are the challenges, has it been kind of similar? Is this kind of a similar spot to what you've been in before?
No, not really, because, we didn't have spring. The whole COVID stuff, we didn't have spring, and then the other is, spring football, and then, the other thing is usually you have a couple games where you kind of tune things up, which are quite valuable, but, it is what it is. I mean, we don't have any complaints. We're in the same boat everybody else is, in this conference.
All right, we'll end things with Ben Portnoy.
Mike, with Will not being available the last couple of weeks, how, physically fit and ready was he to actually play today, and how much did you guys feel like he could actually go today?
I didn't think he was as much as he would have been, but, it is what it is. Whoever you think can help you play, whoever's the best one that you think can help you play, I mean, that's the guy you kind of go to. I was hoping Will could give us a spark. He did some good things. I mean, true freshman debut, completed some balls and did some good stuff, but, he'll get better and better from that.
All right, thank you, Coach. We appreciate you coming out today.
All right, thanks.